Monday morning. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer. Amy Jacobson, Jeannie Ives from The Real Story. We're in for Dan today. And, you know, we had not one but two attacks in Michigan yesterday. Of course, a man driving a car through Temple, Israel in suburban Detroit. Thank God the security guards killed him. But the sheriff and the rabbi of one of the largest Jewish congregations in the United States, 3,000 families, they knew it was coming.
We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening. So there was no lack of preparation.
But then there was another attack that we want to bring to you here on AM 560 that I don't think the mainstream media is talking about. And that is the big cyber attack on Stryker Corporation in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now, that's the largest healthcare equipment producer in the country. And guess who's responsible?
Well, the Iranians are, and it's remarkable that they're able to keep this type of attack going when they're under threat physically in every other way. So we're going to have an expert come on shortly here and talk to us about it. But listen, this is very serious what they're doing on the cyber front. According to the AP, pro-Iranian hackers are targeting sites in the Middle East and starting to stretch into the United States. We know that's already happened during the war, raising the risk of American defense contractors, power stations, and water plants being swept into a wave of digital chaos that could expand if Tehran's allies join the fray. So it's not just a medical company, Amy. We have serious threats to all of our infrastructure from cyber attacks by the Iranians.
How to keep companies safe. We welcome to the program Tracey Birkenhauer. She's Chief Impact Officer at STACK Cybersecurity. Good morning, Tracey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing very well, but our critical infrastructure, I'm very concerned.
Well, can you walk us through what happened at Stryker in Kalamazoo there?
Yes, I can. And this is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. This is the beginning, not the end. This will continue, and it is going to continue to grow. So I just want your listeners to understand the facts because they are absolutely stunning. So Stryker is a West Michigan company. They are absolutely global. They have $25 billion in revenue, 56,000 employees throughout the world. They make surgical robots, orthopedic implants, hospital beds, and the system that paramedics use to transmit your heart data to the emergency room before you even arrive. So this week, an Iranian-linked hacking group called Handala wiped the data from more than 200,000 of their devices overnight. They shut down all of their offices in 79 countries, and they walked away with over 50 terabytes of stolen data. Now, I believe that number will go up. They're claiming 50 terabytes. I bet it was even more. So what stops us all cold here, right? They didn't want anything. There was no ransomware. They didn't ask for money. They just wanted the information, and they wanted to terrorize Americans. They wanted to cause the maximum damage to an American company that touches 150 million patients a year. So the shift from criminals who want a payday to adversaries who want destruction is a very dangerous development in cybersecurity.
Well, retired General Tim Howell, who led both the National Security Agency and the U.S. Cyber Command, said Wednesday in a Wall Street Journal report, as we think about who would be targeted in a conflict, industry becomes the most relevant set of targets because it's a place that's going to be public facing. They will present vulnerabilities and someone can claim credit for it. Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. I spoke with Michigan Cyber Command yesterday. And what's interesting is they said, well, first of all, they became aware of the incident a day before Stryker made their announcement. Now, that's telling to me, right? Mm-hmm. And also, they did say, yes, these investigations can take weeks before the full picture becomes public or available even to them. But he said this one, frankly, is difficult because the federal agencies, he couldn't tell me which ones. He said there were two federal agencies involved and they aren't playing nice. they're not sharing information with Michigan Cyber Command. So they're basically having to conduct their own investigation blindly, which I don't like necessarily, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it. So in his quote is that they're not playing nice with the locals. But he indeed said, yes, we can nearly state here that this is Iran. And then he also mentioned the breach with Verifone. And at that time, I wasn't even aware of the Verifone breach, which is an Israeli company. And now I'm very fully aware of that. So Verifone is massive. They are a credit card processor. And what was interesting is I was actually driving from Chicago to Detroit at the time. And he said, if you would use your credit card anywhere in between Chicago and Detroit, Verifone was definitely involved. So they're back up, they're operational, but he said that all of their data is now on the dark web.
Well, Handala is apparently a pro-Palestinian hacking group. So for all those pro-Palestinian marchers out there, just know who you're dealing with. Oh, by the way. And they also apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal, emerged around 2022 and has been linked to Iran by several threat intelligence companies. It's claimed a string of attacks on Israeli companies and others in the Gulf in recent weeks. And they are saying that this hack was retaliation for a strike on an elementary school in Iran that the state media there has said killed over 160 children.
That's what they say.
Yes.
Well, are we going to go tit for tat? Like if there's a strike where civilians are accidentally murdered, it happens in war. It happens all the time. Is that what's going to happen? If we have an attack, then they're going to attack us with our cybersecurity?
Well, the thing is, these Iran-sponsored hackers have a long history of using what they call wiper malware, which is what they did to Stryker, to permanently destroy data and the hard drives that store it. So this Shamoon, a wiper that targeted Saudi Aramco, the world's largest exporter of crude oil, in 2012, and again struck Saudi Arabian organizations 4 years later, has been linked to Iran, although not conclusively. But in 2019, researchers reported the discovery of a new wiper dubbed Zero Clear. What a great name. That has also been linked to Iran. So this has existed for some time. And I doubt that it is all about this school. That sure, the optics are great for them on that one. It makes good headlines, but I seriously doubt it. I also think that someone else has probably been in the Stryker system for some time, and they just went on the dark web. They purchased a kit, which is terrifying. We have events in our office. We're located in Metro Detroit, but we serve clients all over the country. We invite people in and we show them the dark web and what you can purchase on the dark web. It's terrifying, but you can absolutely just go out there, you buy a kit, and you can conduct a cyber event just like they did. And this is just business as usual for people like this.
So, Tracey, how does your company STACK Cybersecurity, how can they help companies like Stryker and other companies out there, and even, our government entities such as, power plants too, and water resources?
Well, what they need is the proper cyber defenses so that they are not having to react like this. So what Stryker is claiming is they got probably into their mobile device management, what we call MDM, and they got into their Microsoft Intune, but that's all they're claiming, right? So if they had the proper tools in place, I'm thinking they did not have this set up properly. What we call SIM or SEAM, I know we have so many acronyms in cybersecurity, so it is security.
You're worse than the military.
We're terrible, I know, which is why no one understands this stuff.
No.
So let's just call it SEAM. It's security, incident, and event management. When we put those tools on your system, we see everything that's coming and going. If they had this set up properly, they would have seen this coming, they would have known it, and they would have shut it down before anything ever happened.
Are you saying a multi-billion-dollar multinational company with 56,000 employees did not have the right cybersecurity in place to combat this? That's so hard to believe.
Correct. And we see it every single day. We see manufacturers. We are in the heart of manufacturing here in Michigan, and we see it. We even see military contractors And they refuse to do the right thing. And you understand now that the federal government has dictated this. It is called the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, or CMMC. The deadline was November 10th of last year, that everyone involved in the defense industrial base had to get all of their cybersecurity controls in place. The manufacturers are still refusing to do it, even with the line in the sand. They don't even have proper physical security.
Is this something that basically the Biden administration just fell down on? Or does it go back further than that?
Oh, it goes back way further than that. Mm-hmm. It does go back further than that. But I have heard, this is anecdotal, but a friend of mine who was at the White House had said that Biden was actually trying to kill the CMMC program, which is terrifying.
And do we know why? Like, what was the reasoning behind it?
It's always money. It's always money. I don't get it. But conversely, I have heard that President Trump is pushing very hard to ensure that CMMC is completed, that these defense industrial base suppliers are doing the right thing and locking it down, because how do we not realize this is the basis for Homeland security? Cybersecurity is Homeland security. And I will tell you, I was just at the Global Technology Industry Association conference in Chicago. Lovely. Well, when we are there, we share intel. And what I have heard is that this is just the beginning. Even the incident that happened in Austin, that was just the beginning. And we all need to pay attention. I have been warned. There are some things coming. They're on the horizon that may make 9/11 look small.
And meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security is not being funded, and that includes cybersecurity, folks. And the Democrats are holding it hostage because they want ICE not to wear masks. That is what's happening. That's how.
And they want to make sure that ICE, they're not at polling places either.
Yeah, they're moronic. They're dangerous to have in office. I got to tell you, Iran is not a backwater country. They're pretty sophisticated, and they're backed up by Russia and China, who are even more sophisticated, and they are after us. And so, the fact that they can continue to do these cyber attacks while physically having all this destruction around them is just, I guess, remarkable, but it's also frightening.
It is absolutely frightening. And I'm having to turn to organizations like the Global Technology Industry Association, because the association that the government entity, CISA, they have had so many funds cut. And then you had in January of 2025, Jen Easterly, their agency's director, left. And then it has been completely reworked, and they have had their funding cut. And that's really scary, that they're the ones who are supposed to be sharing this information with the business system. And I feel as though that communication just isn't happening the way that it used to. And so now it's coming down to private industry to keep our finger on the pulse of what's actually happening globally. And it's terrifying.
All right, Tracey Birkenhauer, going to have to leave it there for today. Chief Impact Officer at STACK Cybersecurity. That's STACK, just like it's pronounced. STACK Cybersecurity. Where can people find out more information about your company?
If they go to our website, stackcyber.com.
All right, stackcyber.com. Tracey, thank you so much.